What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we have some very cool news for the new Avengers game, and what we all really want to see is of course a new gameplay, as all we have seen is little snippets, and then the Avengers fan account basically put all the snippets together, and it was still literally like under 50 seconds of raw gameplay that we have seen. But it has now been confirmed that the Square Enix team will actually be at SDCC. Now that is San Diego's Comic-Con, and well, if the Marvel's Avengers team are going to be there, it's safe to say A, we're going to get some new information, or B, we're hopefully going to get some new gameplay. So this is what it does say on the actual website. It says Marvel's Entertainment Panel Schedule, Thursday, July the 18th, and then of course it says about 1:30 PM. You get an inside look at the latest and greatest from Marvel games. Attendees will see exciting new content from Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, Marvel's Iron Man VR, and Marvel's Avengers, with many unannounced surprises and panel exclusives. Host Greg Miller, brackets Loudmouth and KindaFunny.com, will be joined by Bill Roseman, who of course I've mentioned multiple times in many videos, who is the Vice President and Creative Director over at Marvel Games, and other special guests from titles throughout the Marvel Games family. So first of all, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, of course, naturally it's not on the top of my list, but that is something that's going to be cool to see, I guess. It's definitely going to be cool to see the Iron Man VR. Of course, we saw a trailer how many months ago now? Maybe like 3 months ago. So it's going to be interesting to see how far that's come, if they're going to show off any new gameplay footage of that. Where it's a VR game, of course, already it's a little bit iffy, but not gonna lie, I'd probably still gonna go ahead and give it a shot. But where they said, of course, Marvel's Avengers, and with many unannounced surprises and panel exclusives, is what has got me excited, especially the fact that Bill Roseman will be there. I'm hoping there are gonna be a ton of like Q&As that are gonna be taking place, and it's safe to say there is going to be new information. You surely can't go to another gaming event and essentially just repeat every single thing you have on social media, and of course the world's biggest gaming event that just went, of course, at E3. So what I really want to see, and what my prayers are for this, is that we see some actual gameplay that lasts about a minute each for each character at least. I mean, in terms of all the characters confirmed so far anyway, and I could be wrong, so if I am, let me know in the comment section below. We got Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hulk, Thor, Ant-Man, Taskmaster, and the Abomination, which of course we haven't actually seen gameplay of technically. We only saw that little cutscene between him and Hulk going head to head. Same with Taskmaster, pretty much, and Ant-Man. So I really, well, first of all, I want these to be playable characters, okay? That would be crazy. But with Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hulk, and Thor, I'm just going to take it as this is your main team, alright? So I want to see at least a minute of gameplay for each of these characters, hopefully showing off, their special moves and what be it. Now, you guys let me know in the comment section below what you think the chances are of seeing gameplay at the Comic-Con event. Is it realistic? Is it not? Or do you think we're just going to get new details? Again, do take into consideration that now the game is announced, now it's been announced at E3, they could technically go ahead and drop a trailer whenever they like, because everyone's aware of the game. And plus, I guess going to these big gaming events anymore, at least in my personal opinion, aren't really as powerful as they used to be. If you go ahead and look at a company that are massive on Twitter, they could literally go ahead, just drop a trailer on Twitter and get it trending like straight away. Pretty much just my own opinion, but I don't really think the gaming events make a huge difference. It's just something that I guess has become like a tradition almost for just gaming. Naturally you go there, even though realistically it's probably not going to do you a whole lot of good, but it's going to do you a little bit. So in a nutshell, new gameplay inbound is where we seem to be at. Now it has officially been announced that Square Enix hope that this Avengers game will be better than, of course, Insomniac's SpiderMan. We already know this was going to be their natural competition, and the president of Square Enix, who goes by the name Yuzuke, actually spoke with GamesIndustry.biz, and I know they've done like a Q&A with a few developers in the past as well over the last couple of weeks, so that's also interesting. Now, after finally seeing the footage of the title at E3, a lot of people were disappointed. We already know that. Now, according to Yuzuke, he says SpiderMan was a huge title and a major success, so we would like to work hard to have that kind of success. So I guess it did increase my expectations for the Avengers. I do believe you have to have high goals. I thought that Spider-Man was fantastic, but we don't want to be bested by them. When I say bested, I didn't know if he meant beated, but again, this is just me going quote by quote, okay, word by word. Now, he's continued to say, we are working very hard on the development effort right now, so that we are able to provide a new experience. Now, later on in the interview, he decided the teams that are working on the project, so just to give you guys a little recap, it says the lead studio on the project is Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal is supporting them, and there's support from the Netherlands studio Nixes, and of course they are interacting with each other in a variety of different ways. But when you talk about a blockbuster or AAA titles, these days in general, you'll find your resources are too limited if you try to development only at a single studio. For that reason, a variety of studios are collaborating with one another. It doesn't have to be a licensing arrangement, but this time with Marvel, we decided we are going to produce a new Avengers experience that was going to be completely separate to the very famous cinematic universe. We saw this as a considerable challenge, and we thought by doing that, it would give us an experience that would then of course leverage moving forward when making other new titles. So we know that Marvel Games as well are working very close with all these teams in general. We know that they sort of exchanging gameplay footage back to back with each other, and then of course Marvel are giving advice. And I always said, if Marvel Games are going to be working with them directly, it is just going to make it a whole lot more interesting and a whole lot more fun, and hopefully easier, I guess. Now, since this post was released, even though everyone knows that Spider-Man PS4 was a great game, we know that the Avengers game, without even seeing anything, instantly outweighs it by the fact of having multiplayer and the fact that it's going to be a much longer, lasting game essentially. If you look back at Spider-Man PS4, it was a great game. You can't really knock the game. Everything was good. Insomniac done a flawless job. Attention to detail, the gameplay experience, combat, you name it, they nailed it, right? However, what they didn't nail is the fact that it's just a single player game, and that realistically right now today, there's not as many people playing the game as there were. The only way people will now go back to that game is if of course new suits were added into the game, or maybe a DLC, but again that's a whole nother field. But realistically speaking, that is the only way someone would go back to that game. Now, whereas with the Avengers game, we know they're going to continue adding more characters, and I saw a comment from a guy called Josh Lee, who said, I would love to see characters like Blade, Cable, Ghost Rider, and Iron Fist, and Venom, and that would be really cool. And then we had a guy who goes by the name Dylan, who says I want to see all the MCU suits, especially the one from Captain America, Doctor Strange, a good story, online multiplayer, and then just, plain multiplayer really. And then we had people saying they better have a Lebowski foreskin. So when you see all these comments, right, the team are seeing this. Now, the difference with this team is they are going to go ahead and implement more things into the game. So instantly it's got that win over Spider-Man PS4. Again, you don't even need to see anything with this game too much to know that it's going to be better in that perspective. Don't get me wrong, the gameplay could be awful. It could turn out and go completely south and is not what we expected. Everything can just go down the drain and we will all be like, well, this is not what we expected. It turns into like some big sort of, I don't know, RPG looking game as I've seen people, comment. And that's the worst case, right? That is the worst case and the most unlikely thing to happen. But my point is, it would still weirdly be fun because you can play online, there's going to be new skins, there's going to be new content, new worlds essentially, like regions are going to be added. So instantly, even if it is crappy looking, you still will go ahead and play with it. I said to you guys way before, let's look back when the PlayStation 2 was a thing, right? Graphics were great back then because you never knew any more, you never knew any different. But what really mattered back then especially is the gameplay. If the gameplay was boring as hell and the graphics were good, it didn't make a difference. It really did not make a difference. There are some great games out there where the graphics are not exactly top notch, but the gameplay is top notch and you really enjoy the game. And this is where I always kind of have that debate where, to some extent, I always say gameplay over graphics. Don't get me wrong, I don't want a pixelated game, okay? Because then no, it essentially won't exactly be the greatest looking thing, but my point is you can still make a pixelated game be fun if you have that great gameplay experience implemented into that. But again, that's a whole nother little, field I guess to talk about. And I want you guys to get in the comment section below. Do graphics matter to you? Or is it the gameplay? Let me know in the comment section below. But guys, that is going to wrap up this video. As always, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe for more awesome content. And I will see you in the next one. Until then, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day. And adios amigos.